Hello and welcome to this episode of the Wine Down ReWine. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Thank you for joining us as we update you on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news. Where to start? Tammy, there has been a whole lot going on in the news the past couple of weeks since our last episode. I know we can start with Ellen saying goodbye. We'll say hello with Ellen saying goodbye. See what I did there?
You're so clever.
Wait a minute. I also know where we're going to start. My bad. Back up, rewind, reverse. We got to start this show off right. Happy birthday, Tammy!
Oh, God. That was a perfect segue. Like, I like how you did that. That was really good.
That's how we gonna start. It's your birthday, dog.
It's my birthday.
Go, shorty. It's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. We gonna sing a party like it's your birthday. Okay.
Let's go back to Ellen.
we can get to her in a moment. Since it's your birthday, and I remember what we were supposed to do last year on your birthday. Oh, blessings. But I just want to say that the world is going to start getting back to semi-normal soon, because they announced the mask off and stuff like that. So are you going to go out and do something maskless for your birthday?
Absolutely not. I don't trust these people. I don't trust none of these people, because I feel that if you go maskless, I don't know if you're going maskless because you never was wearing the mask, or if you're going maskless because you're vaccinated. So I can't trust none of these people. Nah, I'm good.
Thank you. Good. Or if you were reluctantly wearing a mask and you're not vaccinated and you were never about that mask life, and now you just like, fuck it. I ain't got to do it no more. I don't even have to pretend no more. I don't trust you.
I trust you. Oh, okay. Wait. Before we get to Ellen, sorry, Ellen. Before we get to Ellen, right? I remembered a storyline. Like, we did not put this on the list, but it just popped into my head because it is my birthday. So we never talked about, did we ever talk about Zac Efron?
Zac Efron's new face?
Yes.
No, we didn't. Okay, Tammy loves Zac Efron. Like, he is her, I don't know if he's your Leo. Is he your Leo? He's on her baby daddy list. Let me put it that way.
He's always been on it. Can I just say, look, y'all, I have loved Zac Efron since he was in a show called Summerland, which premiered, of course, in the summer. He was 13 years old. And I have been a fan of his. I was a teenager as well, so don't be thinking nothing. But I have loved him since I saw him in the show Summerland when he was 13 years old. Like, he got on my list and he's never left it. I have been faithful to him through all of the great movies and horrible movies that he has done throughout the years. But I don't know if he can stay in his place with this face.
Yeah, I too remember Summerland, and I thought he was a cutie. I never jumped on a High School Musical train. That's not my bag. I stayed out of that.
I did it just for him.
Yeah, you know how I feel about musicals. My musicals, I prefer them on Broadway and stages, not necessarily in movies and stuff. And so a couple of weeks ago, I was on the amazingness that is Twitter. I love Twitter, by the way. I'm random and I select what I view on Twitter. But I saw he was trending, and we were at the day job, and I just sent it to Tammy because I knew she loved Zac Efron. I'm like,
she did me so wrong. She did me so wrong, y'all. I'm in the middle of my work, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what did she send me this time from Twitter? And I opened up that text message and I said, oh, hell no.
See, I figured as a true friend, I should break it to her before Twitter broke it to her. I didn't want her to experience that Twitter heartbreak. So so as a friend, it was my job. And yes, I'm that person who in the middle of the day at work should be working. And sometimes I get distracted by Twitter and I just, distract all my friends with the stuff that I find on Twitter, the random stuff, because I'm me.
It's part of the time that we're in right now.
But so I did my duty as a friend, and I figured it would be better coming from me than the harsh world of Twitter. And I at first thought, hey, I knew that he'd been bulky. He's big on his muscles and stuff like that. And I saw it and I'm like, something's not quite right. And I'm looking and I read the comments and I'm like, yeah, that's what's not quite right. And I'm not to shame, but nah, I'm not down with the new face.
Yeah, and I would say, look, when I mean that him and Colin Farrell are my number ones, like nobody is above them. Like nobody is above Colin Farrell and Zac Efron. Like I couldn't even choose which one. Like it was always like I'm seeing everything that they're in. Colin Farrell's a better actor, but when it comes to like who I love, it was a tie. Like I'll take both of them at the exact same time. But yeah, that face when I saw the jaw and I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to shame you, but who did that to you, boo? Like you were sexy beforehand, right? Like who told you wasn't sexy anymore, that you had to go and do this to yourself? Because let me know, because I will go and I will drag them.
Well,
but yeah.
And there's some more pictures that popped up. I was looking it up, and they're saying that he has returned to his normal face. So maybe it was for a movie, maybe it was an app, maybe it was, I don't know. But that was my first thing when we talked about it. I said I'm hoping this is like for a movie, like movie makeup or something like that.
You did say that.
So they're saying that he's looking back to normal. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe he ate some bad puff fish in Australia, because that's where he's living now. So I don't know.
Look, Zac Efron. Do not ever in your life again post that mess as a joke, as a prank. I don't care what it is. Don't you ever be trending on Twitter over that mess again. I'm gonna let you know. Don't do it. Don't do it. You better stick to that beautiful face that you originally have.
Now
I'm sorry. Now we can get into Ellen.
It's your birthday. Go shorty. Ellen is saying goodbye. And something I think that doesn't really surprise most people is, especially after the drama last year, Ellen is in her talk show after next season, season 19. And
that's a very significant year. 19 is a very significant number.
Yeah, like I have a love-hate relationship with Ellen. I appreciate everything she's done. I remember her on her show. I remember when she came out. I remember all the hardships she faced. I used to love her talk show. I did. But one thing I noticed when I watched it is that she was kind of rude. Like she would cut people off and not let them finish talking and stuff like that. And I don't know. She's just being checked out from the show for a long time for me. And so I stopped watching unless there was someone on that I wanted to see. And then of course I could just go to YouTube and watch the clips. But so last year when it came out that, her talk show was one of the capitals of toxic work environment or toxicity, whatever. That was a big deal. It was a big scandal. So now in ending her show, she says that she felt like all that was very orchestrated and misogynistic, and the man was basically out to get her.
Was it the 3 men that ended up getting fired for creating that work environment? Is that what she's saying? Because I will say that while I also was a fan of her show when it first premiered, and I felt that she was very fun-loving, slowly throughout the years, I started to see that was a very fake persona that she was presenting, and she's extremely standoffish. She's not the friendliest person, and I'm not to say that she's a mean person, but she's not the most approachable person. And I have gotten that vibe on just watching her show and see how she talks to people. But you can also tell, like, you know, she also has great qualities, because some of her you know, bestest like celebrity friends, like, I think they are really great people from, you know, what I've seen and noticed and behind the scenes and everything like that. So yeah, but like, I lost interest in her show a long time ago, and I was the same way as you, is that if anyone was on her show that I definitely was interested in seeing, I would just go on YouTube and like watch it, because everything's on YouTube now, rather than actually watching the full show. I couldn't get through her whole hour show anymore, and I used to watch it all the time. So you know, I mean, granted, it came out and y'all had to deal with it, and maybe you don't feel like you're going to bounce back the way that you would want to bounce back from it. So you're rich enough that, yeah, go ahead and end your show. That's fine. Like, you know, you're like, it's hilarious to kind of say this, but you're like the white Oprah. Like, you're not as rich as Oprah, but like, you're like the white Oprah, which is amazing, because, you know, Oprah's a black woman, and I'm saying like she's like the white black woman, but but like, just on how she did connect to her audience and everything like that, and she had a huge fan base and following. Yeah, like, you know, so I'm okay with her ending it. I don't think that she's ending it on her own terms. I think that you're forced to end your show, because y'all cannot solve the behind the scenes drama that is going on. But, you know, do you, boo? Like, you still rich as, you know, as what is the rich dude with the gold?
King Midas.
Midas, yes. You're still rich like Midas, so you good.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you know, to say you knew 19 was going to be the magical number. No, most people go for 20 or something like that. So,
exactly.
But for you, the one thing that I do think that she was honest about in her explanation was that she no longer feels challenged by it. And like I said, I could see that. It seemed like she kind of checked out a long time ago. As far as her being, now I've heard different things. I heard she's in person actually not the nicest person. That she's kind of snobby, that she treats, you know, that. And on one hand, I get kind of being standoffish, because I'm extremely introverted and I'm standoffish to people I don't know. That's just my personality. But, you know, so I'm not going to blame her for that. But if you really are as mean and bitchy to the people who don't, quote unquote, who aren't on that phantom A-list, then that's a problem. But, you know, so Ellen is ending after 19 seasons. This Is Us, the sob fest that is This Is Us, is also ending next year. I know you're so sad, because that is your favorite show.
Yeah,
and Blackish is ending next year too. It was renewed for its 8th and final year. So shout out to Blackish for lasting that long. It's a hell of a show. I like it.
Yes, I will agree with you on that one. I think Blackish was a great show, and I love how they kept with the time. Like, a really great show.
And the spinoff, I love Grownish, the spinoff. The one that went back and told Bo's story, Mixed-ish, it got canceled, but it got 2 seasons. So, you know, shout out to Kenya Bears, you know, doing your thing and creating some good shows. Now, his show, The Wonder Years, did get picked up too, which is a reboot of the show, The Wonder Years. And this one's going to be centered around a Black family. So, you know, just some ending, some goodbye, some things we're saying goodbye to, some things we're saying hello to. We'll see how that goes. This one I'm kind of sneaking in here, not just to say any. Well, no,
she always does this to me, y'all. She always does this. But go ahead, Eddie.
I do. I do. Just to say, I don't know. I just thought it was a funny story. It's kind of sad. The Joe Budden story, just about the way his podcast imploded on air. I really don't know what to say about it. Just that.
Eddie, you didn't even listen to his podcast.
I know, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not a Joe Budden fan. Like, when I saw, like, you know me, like I said, I'm the Twitter person. I go on Twitter. I like Twitter. And I ignore the bullshit on Twitter. I know that Twitter is a landmine of toxic mess. I know what it is, but I like it. So when I saw him trending, the exact thing I said is, what did this fool do now? Why the fuck is he trending, right? So I go and I watch the video and I'm like, oh, he blew up again. Okay. So once I heard, even though I didn't listen to the podcast, I have no use for Joe Budden, not a fan of Joe Budden, besides that one song that he had way back in the day. I can't even remember the song. So I was just not surprised by what he did. I was just like, wow, but it was fucked up, but So that was the one that I was sneaking in there for you. So where do you want to go? Lakeith Stanfield is in the news for moderating an anti-Semitic chat room, which I think was run by Ice Cube, that was co-signing on Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah. Okay. So the background of this is that he joined this chat room in order to, that was about Louis Farrakhan, and they were talking about Louis Farrakhan. The chat had been shut down previously for extremely racist and anti-Semitic comments. It got way out of hand. They had shut down the chat room, and then I think another group of people who really wanted it to keep the conversation open on Louis Farrakhan without all that toxic, mess that was going on, open up another chat room to really talk about Louis Farrakhan and his ideas, which I find hilarious, seeing as how Louis Farrakhan is anti-Semitic. So, and it went, way left field once again. Lakeith Stanfield joined the chat, and as soon as they saw that he joined, he's a big name, so they made him a moderator. He didn't ask to be a moderator. He didn't sign in to be a moderator. It wasn't like he was an organizer of this chat. They made him a moderator, and of course, the conversation once again went extremely racist and extremely anti-Semitic. He never once spoke up. He never once shut down what was being said, and he stayed in the chat. And that is where the issue is coming in, is that, he had to come out with a whole big statement, and his first statement was worse than his second statement. His second statement actually apologized for what happened. His first statement was kind of like a, it is what it is kind of comment. And so you kind of, what did you always tell me? Silence is what, Eddie?
Complicity?
Yes. So his silence was complicity. The fact that you were in this chat, you heard what they were talking about, you saw the comments, you read the comments that they were posting in this chat, and you stayed in the chat, and never once did you call any of these racist and anti-Semitic comments out, then yes, you were complicit to what was going on in the chat, even if you didn't ask to be a moderator. That's just my gist of it.
I can't disagree with you, and I think you explained it very, very well. He's come out and he apologized. I didn't see the first statement. I saw the second statement where he actually explained what happened. I read that, and I was like, okay. But I'm with you. Silence is complicity. And when you see, who you are, what your name is. And when you saw that they made you a moderator of the chat, which basically makes you one of the people who are quote unquote in charge of the chat, even though you didn't ask for it, or one of the people who are co-signing or co-hosting, however you want to put it on this chat, your name is now attached to it. It's not like, oh, yo, it's not like when you're on Versus and you see all the people who are coming in on IG who are there. It's like, oh, you can't just say, oh, Lakeith Stanfield was in here. You were made a moderator, and so when you saw that, you didn't do anything to leave the chat. You didn't. When you started to see the toxic shit popping off, you just stayed. So by your silence, it made you complicit in that. So now you're having to pay your PR team overtime to, clean up your mess, and especially from the whole, and we're in a stage where if it is what it is isn't good enough when people disrespect us, if that isn't good enough for us anymore, then why should it be good enough for someone else? Why should we be able to get with that as an apology for someone else? for disrespecting someone else. If you wouldn't accept it as an apology for yourself, then don't try to lay that bullshit out there for someone else and think that it's okay. Now, I am a fan of Lakeith Stanfield. You know me. This doesn't change that. It just we all do problematic shit at times. We've all done something we shouldn't have, stayed somewhere too long, been silent when we probably should have spoken up. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things that I think could have been easily avoided. Maybe he was high and didn't realize. I don't know. But it was just a sign of bad judgment, I'm guessing. This is the first I've ever heard of anything like that. So, look, not going to cancel him over it, okay?
No, and oh gosh. And I feel like that's a beautiful segue into the next story that we're going to talk about. Well, the whole cancel culture is nonsense that we'll talk about. But yes, like this is not like, I'm also a fan of Lakeith Stanfield. I think that he's a phenomenal actor. And this is not a cancellation, but this is holding him responsible for his actions and him having to deal with the consequences of his silence. And just because you happen to be a Black man, don't mean I'm not going to hold you accountable for your actions. So just hopefully he has learned from this, and this does not happen again. That's what I'm going to say on this story.
Yeah. So you heard a couple of weeks ago we had the Kentucky Derby, and I love watching the Kentucky Derby. Rona has just truly fucked me up. I haven't really watched sports the way I normally do. And so I didn't even, to be honest, and I guess because everything's just been so different, everything's just kind of changed in this past year. So I am interested to see what the new normal is going to be. Anyway, so normally I love watching the Kentucky Derby, but this year I didn't even know when the Kentucky Derby was. Okay. And usually it's around Mother's Day. I think it was still around that same time. So the horse that won the Kentucky Derby is named Medina Spirit, and it's trained by one of the most popular trainers in the Kentucky Derby, Bob Baffert, and he's won all his horses. He's won the most Kentucky Derbies ever. And he's a great trainer. So, but after the Derby, it came out that Medina Spirit failed the drug test. The horse they had too much of a certain drug in their system. And so, I think they're going to have to give it another test and see how that next sample comes out. And if it's still positive, then they may strip the horse of the Derby, title. So Bob Baffert, the trainer, went on to your favorite news station, Tammy. I'm sorry to out you. Went on to Faux News, and he basically said that if they do this, then it is the height of cancel culture. Now, let me segue into this. I just told you that he's one of the most prolific horse trainers in Derby history, in the whole horse training field or whatever. But this is like the 30th time one of his horses has got busted for overdoping. And this is like the 5th time in the last year that one of his horses has got busted for doping. So like, he dopes his horses. Like, this is not a new thing. He got caught. Yeah. So, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. First of all, how the fuck is it cancel culture if you doped your horse and you got caught? It's called dealing with the consequences. Just like we were talking about with Lakeith Stanfield. You being held accountable and called out on your bullshit, and someone holding you to account for your bullshit is not cancel culture. It's called dealing with consequences. It's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And I think this is a term we talked about a couple of episodes ago, how we wish they would just kind of cancel it all together because it's been just bastardized at this point, and no one truly understands what cancel culture is anymore. Like, so, but yeah, what do you think about that?
I think like we can talk about anything, and the fact that they have turned this term of cancel culture into a negative phenomenon, and so they make it seem like being canceled is not like all of a sudden you're losing fans. And it's because if I don't like something that someone that I used to be a fan of is doing, yes, I'm no longer going to support you. Yes, I am canceling you because I don't support you. But that's because of your actions, your words is the reason why I cannot support you. If you come out and you say something racist, yes, I am no longer supporting you. You have lost a fan. You are going to be canceled. Like that is how it is. I don't understand how all of a sudden it's like when you do things that should not be accepted by society, that you should not have to deal with the consequences. Like, how is it that you should not lose money? You should not lose endorsements. You should not lose sponsorship. Like, how have we come to a society where you should not deal with consequences of being sexist, homophobic, racist, xenophobic, ableist, any of the other isms? That is it. Like, if you are anti, you're gonna lose fans. You are going to lose fans. If you're a complete asshole, yes, you're going to lose fans. Why? Because you're an asshole, you're racist, you're sexist, you're homophobic. Like, and I don't agree with that. So I'm gonna let you go. Not to say your other fans ain't gonna support you.
And well said. Bravo. And the people who have turned this into such and I'm just gonna say it's a political talking point at this point for the right. Whenever they don't like something, but you at this point for what it is, it used to be a term where it's just like I'm over it. You know, that's what it was. I'm over it. And like you said, yeah, there are certain times when certain people do deserve to be canceled for the bullshit that they've done, and we talked about those people in that episode as well. But basically, they're hypocrites because of what they did to Colin Kaepernick. That is the height of cancel culture. That is the epitome of cancel culture. Yes. Even though Colin Kaepernick is thriving and surviving and basically dropped a double finger, threw a double fingered salute at you mugs, doesn't mean that y'all didn't cancel him. The man cannot he hasn't been able to do what he loves in the past, going on 6 years now? So it's just like, that is cancel culture. What happened to Liz Cheney this week? That was cancel culture. And I cannot stand Liz Cheney's politics. Do not think that this is any sign of me endorsing Liz Cheney's politics. Okay?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's the principle of it all. You say you removed this woman from her chair seat, from not chairing her committees, but from being the third most powerful Republican in Congress because of what? Because she wouldn't support the big lie. But and you say it's her politics. She voted with Trump more than any other person in Congress. She's one of the most conservative members of Congress, and so that is cancel culture. Like. But when they're doing it, it's what, justified? It's not cancel culture. It's reasonable. It's business as usual. I don't understand, right? And apparently,
and I mean, come on, okay, Dr. Seuss, Mr. Potato Head, like the lies that they have told.
Pepe Le Pew, the rapist skunk, like
when they say like, oh, they're canceling Dr. Seuss. No. They weren't canceling Dr. Seuss. It wasn't even the public that was canceling Dr. Seuss.
It was Dr. Seuss's family, his estate, that asked for those books to be removed. Like, if you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story.
But they don't. Why? Because they have enough supporters who do not research for themselves. They listen to the bullet points. They listen to the catchphrases, and that is all. And they just continue to repeat those catchphrases. And so this whole cancel culture, and it's not only them, because also talking about, like, even going back to like Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Chris Brown with the whole drama that he had with Rihanna. And even going back to before social media became what it is, and they be like, oh, but I don't understand, like, y'all just trying to that's cancel culture. That's cancel culture before social media became a thing. And like, I'm still going to support him. And that's your prerogative. If you want to continue to support people like that, that's your prerogative. But don't hold it against me, and don't say, the world is trying to cancel them just because we're holding them accountable for their actions. You did wrong. You did wrong. You should be held accountable. You should be affected. If you lose your job, you lose your job. Maybe you'll think twice before you go and apply somewhere else.
Yeah, like it. I'm sorry. A man drugging and raping women for over 30 years. Yeah, it's way past time for him to be held accountable. A grown ass man molesting children and gaslighting women and preying on weak women, and I don't mean that the way it sounded. That was a poor choice of words. But preying on the weak, the ones who are not able to, messing with their minds and shit like that. Being a sexual predator and abuser, mentally abusing women is what I'm looking for. Yes, it's way past time for you to cancel. Hell, I canceled Chester a long time ago. Like, I was one of the ones who was through with him after the tape came out. And, so I can't even speak. Yeah, that, once I saw all of that other shit, it was just like, wow, it was worse than that. And it's hard to believe it can get worse than that. But and so it takes me back to if anybody needs to be canceled, it's the whack job Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is accosting AOC in the halls of Congress. Like, I wish, I wish they could have a street fight, and I wish AOC could go full on Bronx Latina on her.
Please, she never see it coming, and she cry her white girl tears and keep it moving.
Like, instead of debating the Green New Deal, they should just put them in a ring and let them go.
Lord. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because at the end of the day, who would ultimately get consequences for those actions would be AOC.
It'd be AOC, but
don't take that as a real suggestion, y'all.
It's not. It was just me being. It's just, you know what it is. She's one of those people that you say needed a good ass whipping. Like, she just needs to run up on the right one at the right time. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm going to quote Jamel Hill on that one. She needs to run up on the right one at the right time. And just yeah. And then the other person that they need to cancel, who they're too busy propping up and supporting, Matt Gaetz. Like, cancel culture should apply to those two, amongst others. But, so
we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. What did you think about Caleb Kennedy from American Idol?
I don't watch American Idol. I don't focus on it. I did read up on it, and his excuse was that, he was young, he was a teenager, and so I guess he doesn't know any better. And I hate the fact that they are giving this, they're letting this excuse go where, well, they're children at teenagers, that they should just be forgiven for this stuff. They don't know any better. You're a teenager. Like, 14-year-olds know better. 8th graders know better. If you still continue to do it, knowing that it's not the thing to do, then yes, you should be held accountable. I don't care your age. I don't care that you were 15, that you were 16. And to think that, well, their minds just aren't developed enough. My thing is that their minds are not developed enough, but you got states that are putting 12-year-olds on death row for murder. Developed enough for you to want to put these kids on death row, but you come out with a racist photo of you sitting next to somebody in a white hood, and all of a sudden you didn't know any better at 15 years old? Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I think I could have handled, like I said, I can deal with the poor judgment. It was a lack of judgment on my part. I apologize. I could deal better with that type of mea culpa than I can with the, I just didn't know. You know what racism is at 15. You can discuss it. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Just come out and say, you know what? That was a different time in my life. I was younger. I know better now. I'm a different person. But that, again, it goes back to that almost, it is what it is. It just becomes these hollow words, these talking points, these PR statements.
All of these apologies become
it ranks up there with thoughts and prayers, And now when I really sincerely want to send someone my thoughts and prayers, when I want to say that to someone, I think I have to find something else to say because it always that now to me sounds so fucking hollow. Like it has no meaning. So when I hear shit like it is what it is, or I was just young and I didn't know better, whatever, that's pretty much the tone that I get from that. So I file it with the thoughts and prayers, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, we will see. On to the cancel culture, I guess. Sticking with cancel culture, the Golden Globes were they canceled or were they just?
They just won't be on NBC. That's basically what it is. Now, if they were to find a different network to host the Golden Globes, then go right ahead. But NBC will not be hosting them, will not be showing them on TV next year in 2022. And I know you're more familiar with this story than I am, because I will be honest and say I've kind of given up on award shows. In the last 2 years, I've kind of given up on award shows. Even the TV and movie award shows are just not what they used to be. And to hear the backstory of the Golden Globe, I was one of those. I was extremely naive. So I truly believe that everyone who won a Golden Globe actually won it because they deserved it. And one reason is because I didn't watch everything that was awarded. So, I couldn't tell you if the person didn't deserve the award over another. I have heard of shows that had never been nominated that should have been nominated, definitely. But yeah, so this was definitely an eye-opener for me to hear about all the drama and the deviousness that was going on behind the scenes of the HFPA. Definitely did not know all of that, but that's because I don't follow that aspect of entertainment as much as you do. So you can definitely educate me a little bit more, and you have educated me a little bit more on that whole thing rather than me.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those stories that we just kind of file into stealing from one of my favorite journalists, where we just put in the watch this space because it's ever evolving. So we talked about how they had how they had the problems with the racism, and I knew that people were saying it behind the scenes that they were racist. I didn't realize that they didn't have any members of color as far on their board or anywhere in the organization. I didn't know that it was just strictly vanilla. I had no idea about that. I'd heard the rumors about it being a pay for play scheme where you could pretty much just buy a Golden Globe. If you kissed enough ass and if you greased the right palms, then you could get your Golden Globe. And so I was like, okay, so I've been suspect about that for a while. But when this story just kind of blew up, I guess within the last year, I didn't realize how bad or how deep their troubles really ran. And so, after this year's Golden Globes, they go and they get, they hired the real life Olivia Pope. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. But they hire her. She quits within 3 weeks.
Damn.
So I'm like, yeah, she, and for those who don't know, Olivia Pope on Scandal was based after a real life woman. And so she quit after 3 weeks. They tried to bring her in, and she was like, oh, her name is Judy Smith. And so she's one of the power brokers in the PR world. She's a fixer. If she can't fix it, you're fucked. So that kind of let me know that, oh my God, this is worse than I thought. They went and also hired some diversity champion from USC. And he and Smith were butting heads a lot. And she was like, he's the one who supposedly came up with the random number of 13 black members. And he's black. So I guess they were like, oh, well, if the black man says it, then, And not only that, he's black and he's gay. So I guess they were like, well, if the black gay man says it, then we're doing the right thing. But so after Judy Smith was like, oh, fuck this, I'm out. Shonda Rhimes and Ava DuVernay were like, fuck this, we're out. they were kind of like hanging on behind the scenes. Like they have been some of the biggest dissenters against the Globes. I'm having word farts right now. Dissenters against the Globes for years. And so when she was like, I'm out, they were like, oh, like I said, this shit is fucked. So I guess everyone else was waiting to see what the board was going to do with the changes. So and you know, the PR people, they had dropped out a while back, like all of the big PR firms, and you can't get them to agree on anything, but they all came together to agree on this. We're done with the Globes. You're not getting our artists. And so once they came out, and it was a whole big deal. I remember the day, it was like a couple weeks ago. They announced that the board had unanimously approved the sweeping changes. They're getting rid of the racist old ass president, who was just a whole nother story in and of itself. This comes after the Oscars, when one of their journalists basically calls Daniel Kaluuya Leslie Odom Jr., like just basically mixes them up. And she was like, yeah, after he wins the Oscar, you know, during the presser, she asked him, so what was it like working with Regina King? What? Ooh. And so he basically does that, and she goes on this whole thing, you know, like her not being nominated this year, and how do you feel, you know, you getting the nomination and all that. And he was like, excuse me, can you repeat the question? And I guess the way he looked at it, like, he gave her that look like, huh? And so she tries to clean it up. And when she tries to clean it up, she goes, I know y'all are going to think I'm racist, but I wasn't. It was just, you know. And then she tried to say, well, something like, because the writer director of Judas his name was Shaka King. And I'm like, but he was nominated, like Best Picture and all that shit. So anyway, you know, it's that kind of stuff that just kind of plays into their history. But after they announced all these sweeping changes and reforms, they thought they had done something. They were like, yay, give us our flowers. We did it. Hold the phone. Hollywood was like, fuck you. You ain't done shit. Like, oh, damn. This is a start. They're like, yeah, it's a start, but what we now want to see is how y'all are going to actually implement this. You voted for it, but are you actually going to do it? And because basically, you know, how the way everything works with streaming and seasons running on top of each other, they're like, you don't have enough time to implement all of these changes and do it right and fix your problems before the next Golden Globes. So they're like, okay, we'll give you some credit for taking the first step, but we actually want to see you take the rest of the steps before we come back in. And so a lot of people are saying it's not enough, it's too much too soon. Put your money where your mouth is, and we're done. We're off of this until you show us you can do better. And so NBC, they were like, yeah, we not gonna fuck with you this year, not like that. So they didn't break the contract, as far as they didn't say that they were never going to air them again. They said if they have their shit together by the following year, then by 2022, 23, then they'll air them. And your boy, the king of doing too much, Tom Cruise, gave back his 3 Golden Globes.
Anyway, moving on from that. Thank you.
Come on now, you know that was an awesome protest move, and exactly 0 people have followed his lead.
Thank you, Eddie, for educating us on what has been going on with the Golden Globes and the HFPA. Don't nobody give 2 fucks about Tom Cruise and his Golden Globe.
Hey, dog, I'm waiting on Mission Impossible 8. What is this, 18, 19? Whatever it is, I'm waiting on it. All right, my bad. We're being very unprofessional.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, moving on to one of our favorite topics ever. Okay, let's start off with the I guess the bad and go to the good.
Hot sauce?
Yes, fucking hot sauce. So, okay, we say this every single time, but of course, our listeners know that we have truly become fans of K-pop since we were forced into quarantine last year. And we have different groups that we love. There are some groups that we absolutely love together.
BTS.
BTS, TXT, and Hyphen, GOT7. And then there are some groups that Eddie likes that I am not a fan of, and some groups that I love that Eddie is not a fan of. One of the groups that Eddie, well, not a fan of the whole group, but you're more a fan of like multiple members because they have 50 million members. Yeah. NCT, one of their subunits, NCT Dream, which is kind of like their teen unit, so it's their younger members, came out with a new song because they're coming out with a full album. And the song is called Hot Sauce. And when you hear Hot Sauce, you're thinking like, this got to be like an underlying message or something like that. Like, they're not really going to make a song about hot sauce. Eddie, did they make a song about hot sauce?
The song is about hot sauce. Not even Tabasco sauce, but hot sauce. And it's not hinting at the girl, you got that hot sauce, not girl, you hot and I want that sauce. No. Not any horrible, sweet, because this is a teen group. So not any type of, innocent euphemism for something else. It's literally about hot sauce.
I could not get through the song. I could not get through the music video when it premiered because I do not understand how you make a whole song, almost 4 minutes, a song about hot sauce, how hot it tastes, pour it out, but they're talking about the hot sauce. Like, this is no other message to the song but hot sauce. They got hot sauce all over the music video. Like, it's trash. It is absolutely horrible. And yet, it premiered at number 1 on the iTunes charts. And I said, K-pop fans, I understand, like, you love your groups, and I get it. But I'm going to say this right now, and Army, come at me if you want, but I swear to God, if BTS comes out with a song called Butter, and the song is actually about butter, we going to have some real problems, okay?
I told you, Sugar, the king of swag. This is how that conversation goes. Yo, Sugar, we got a new song. It's all in English. Oh, okay, great. What is it? Butter. What the fuck? Yeah, it's about butter. There's no way in hell I'm singing or rapping about butter. It's a no. Sugar, no.
Okay, I'm gonna trust Eddie in the fact
I don't even think the most random, weirdest member, and as much as I love him, he is my bias. I don't even think B would go for that. He'd be like, what the fuck?
So I'm hoping, because I do believe that is a perfect response of what Sugar would say, but I'm just, because I did not also think that NCT, the second most popular K-pop group, would make a song about hot sauce. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that none of my groups that I love, absolutely love, come out with some bullshit song like that. Please don't do that.
A full disclaimer, I am not the biggest NCT fan. Like she said, I'm more of a fan of individual members of the group. And NCT Dream is not my jam. Like, I'm more of I would
Wavy,
NCT
127,
but NCT Dream and their hot sauce. So, like I said, if this is an appetizer or a teaser for the full album, it's gonna be a hard pass for me, dog. Because even some of the other stuff that I've seen from this comeback in their album, some of their other songs, I'm like, yeah, not my bag, y'all. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, so
I can't.
And I do agree. If I was to pick one of their subunits, NCT Dream would actually be like at the bottom of the subunits that they have. And I'm not even a fan of NCT. I'm only a fan of like 3 members out of the whole entire 50 million members that they have. Only 3 members are on my list, but not a fan of any of their songs. But on to better news.
But okay, well, hold on, back up. While we're still speaking about NCT, are you excited to hear that they're kind of, I'm not going to say copying, but they're following BTS's lead, and they are looking for, they're trying to create NCT Hollywood, which is their American K-pop band, and it's going to be like a reality show, I guess, kind of like Island, but the American version of Island, produced with Mark Burnett.
Don't say it's them copying BTS.
I did not say that. I said following their lead.
But they're not following BTS lead, because not BTS is Big Hit. So,
well, you know what I mean.
No, but you got to make sure that you put that out there.
It's your birthday, so I'm gonna allow you to be all literal, and I'm not gonna argue. My bad for not being clear, dog. My bad.
I will say I have become a little sensitive to the fact that everything that BTS comes out with is considered to be like so original, like no one else has done it. And not to say that's what you did, but it's so original and nobody else has ever done it before. And, you know, so everybody is following after them. So if like a group comes and does something that BTS just happened to have done themselves, like all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're following BTS. Not necessarily true. Yes, I will agree with Super M. But with the other like stuff, like BTS followed somebody with their whole concept, and I'm sure like, you know, they've set the standard for other people as well. But like, yes, they're coming out with NCT Hollywood. I'm not into competition shows. I can't even watch Kingdom, and you know how much I love Icon, and I can't even watch Kingdom, which is a competition show that they're on. So no, I'm not excited. I can't. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't really watch. I'm over The Voice and shows like that. And like I said, I only watched Island when BTS was on there. Although I do like Hyphen. But I was done when I saw Mark Burnett, and we talked about those reasons. So yeah, I was like, okay, so we'll see how it goes. Would I just not pay attention? Ultimately, the final product, I'm not invested enough to see what's going into making the hot sauce. Yes. See what I did there? But I would pay attention to the final product, both for the, I keep saying BTS, but for HYBE or Big Hit, for what they're going to come up with, and for this, I would pay attention to the final product of it.
And I agree. I think I would love to see like what group they can come up with, especially seeing as how we may not be fans of NCT or EXO or Super M, SHINee, and all the groups. Although I kind of like SHINee now with their new comeback. But SM has done a great job of turning NCT into the second most popular, K-pop boy group. So they do have skills in doing that. So I'm excited to see what group they can form for NCT Hollywood, and the same thing for Big Hit. Like, I'm excited to see, seeing as how Hyphen is like just a great group. That was they did a phenomenal job on creating Hyphen. I'm excited to see what they can create with from their show as well. But I don't want to see the actual process. Like, I'm not interested in it whatsoever.
So we I guess we already hit on the comeback. We're about a week away from Butter being released. I'm excited. I know you're cautiously optimistic after Hot Sauce. That kind of dampens your excitement.
It does. And and how I feel about all English songs, I'm not a fan of them. So I am I'm just very cautious of like what they're gonna come up with. I'm excited still, but I'm just not as vocally as excited as the rest of the fan base, I guess, would be. But also I'm excited about TXT as well, because they're having their comeback is before.
Their comeback is in the next week.
No. Their comeback is after BTS. Like, I think it's they're a week after BTS, because they're Memorial Day weekend for us.
And they're releasing their whole album, right?
Yeah, and they're releasing.
BTS is just the single, right?
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's just the single. No, because BTS is coming out with their album. Their next album is supposed to be in June, I think. June or July is when they're supposed to be coming. So maybe they'll come out during their next anniversary. But TXT is coming out with a full album. Yes, so I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah, because that trailer was sick. Like, it was really trailer. Nice. It was really it was on point. I liked it. It peaked. I was like, yeah, So again, if that was the appetizer, I'm ready for the full course. Like, and they all look so great. And I can we still call Pinky Pinky since he went all black on us, looking sexy as a mug?
He is Pinky forever,
Pinky?
but
okay,
he still looks good. Like, he's still my bias. I love him so much. He's so awesome.
Yeah. So, and
speaking of comebacks.
Speaking of comebacks, speaking of sexy, speaking of appetizers and main course, JB, switch it up. Yo, man, he is on his grown and sexy as fuck. Like, I knew it would be different, and I knew he was always into R&B, and I know he said he wanted to have an R&B solo career, and I get that. And signing with Jay Park's label, what's the perfect place to go? The premier R&B label in Korea, on the come up. You know, he has a great roster. So I knew it wasn't going to be trash. And I didn't expect trash from JB. I wasn't expecting that, though. Like, that was just like, he dropped the mic. He came hard. Like, I'm like, damn.
I will say, he gave me the feel of what Offshore has been releasing. Like, whenever he's releasing music with Offshore, which is like, I wanted to call it like his side piece.
One of his many,
because GOT7 is his main piece. So
oh yeah.
So Offshore, his side piece. That I love. Yeah, I love. Like, first of all, I love Junie. But I love Offshore, the music that they have put out. So you definitely knew, like, that was the direction that he was going to go in. And I think he did a phenomenal job as this being his first single. Like, just coming out the gate extremely strong. And I am hoping that he's working on a CD. I hope this is not going to be a one and done kind of thing and then kind of go back to like modeling, because that's what he's been doing for the last couple months, is he's been modeling, because he is an extremely good looking guy. But yeah, definitely proud of his amazing comeback that he did.
I think the modeling is just a side gig, and I think it was also until he really fully decided where he was going to do what he was going to do, because a lot of people thought he might have stayed independent, So I really don't think that he signed just to go back fully to modeling. I think I'm hoping, he's been in. And JB is one of those who just marches to the beat of his own drums too, and does things on his own time frame. So, but I really think that this was the appetizer, the teaser to the main course. And
yeah,
damn, like he did his thing, like grown and sexy. And the song ain't just about light switches. Let me. So, if you want to make a song and then listen to JB NCT, take some notes, okay? Because, there's so many things you could have done with Hot Sauce, but never mind.
And I do want to say that I am so happy that basically it's complete. All of GOT7, every single member that left JYPE rather than re-signing after their 7-year contract was over, every single one of them has signed to an agency or a record label. Some of them to the same one, some of them to different labels and agencies. But for people who thought that they were just going to disappear into thin air because they didn't have one of the big threes, JYPE, behind them, they're going to show you that they didn't need him, because they did this on their own when they were GOT7, and they're going to do a phenomenal job independently before they come back together for their reunion CD next year in 2022. So Jackson signed to his own label, and as well as a talent agency for everything else. Young Jay with his whole musical and acting, definitely get back into his acting. Bam Bam, just love Bam Bam. Bam Bam being his amazing self. That dude is rich. Can I just say that? How amazingly rich Bam Bam is. But anyway, Yogi is with, what is it called?
AOMG. The
AOMG.
rap, like
Right.
higher is his R&B imprint, and AOMG is the
It's
rap
his hip
imprint.
hop. Yeah, it's his hip hop one. And so that is the direction that he's going, because I think he says like he signed with them just because he really loves the fact that he's able to really get into his dancing, because that's what he missed, that he wasn't able to perform, I guess, at his full potential. And then Jin Young, with his whole acting career and everything like that, doing his thing. And then Mark just got signed to CAA, which is a huge like artist agency in LA. So they're doing amazing, amazing things, and I cannot wait to see what they come out with next, independently as well as together as a group.
And can I say that signing with Jay Park, was the ultimate fuck you, because Jay Park knows firsthand all the bullshit and drama at JYPE, having been part of that group, that company.
Yeah, he was, because he was the leader of 2 p.m.
And
when they first came out.
He didn't leave on the best terms, so
You're right.
Wow, I believe, is that it for this? Oh, one other thing. I want to say happy belated anniversary to one of our other favorites. Monster X celebrated 6 years this week.
Right! Yay!
And
they're coming out. They have their comeback in June. So
yeah, with their mini album, One of a Kind. And if you missed it, for my K-pop fans out there, check them out on V Live. Their celebration. They're also cute. But their birthday celebration, they did a V Live for that. So I can't wait. We have a lot of K-pops coming up, so I can't wait to see what we're going to be talking about and reviewing. And by the next show, we will definitely have some words for Butter. I think it's going to be great. We'll see if we can melt Tammy's cold heart. See what I did there? Hey, maybe someone from NCT is listening. They can see how to do it.
Oh my God, y'all, do not entertain Eddie with her nonsense.
Okay, but yeah, by the next time we talk, Butter will have been released, and we'll have a few comeback performances. And just one more BTS note. I know we try to not talk about them as much because we've dedicated whole shows to BTS.
Yes.
But they did look phenomenal in those pictures. So good.
Okay, wait, hold on. How you gonna bring this up at the end now? Now we got to take a couple minutes and talk about this. Okay, so yes. Jimin with his rainbow hair. Jin just looking as handsome as ever. Worldwide handsome. It's just like absolutely phenomenal.
Precious.
Yes, precious. RM with his pink hair. Coming out with his pink hair. Last time it was blue, now it's pink, and I'm loving it still. Sugar I just love the fact that Sugar's back. Like, I feel like Sugar looks like the most like regular and normal out of all of them. But I'm okay with that because we missed him so much, and thank goodness that he's back in time for this comeback. V. Goodness gracious. V looks gorgeous.
V, yeah.
Like he is sexy on a whole nother level. He really is. And like that's all you. I completely handed V over to you, but I do have to acknowledge the fact that like in the group picture that they had with his side view, I was just like, that man is too good looking.
He knows how to own a camera. Like,
he does. He's phenomenal model. Like, just and the thing is, it's like, it makes him better because like he's such a genuine person that like I feel like it just makes him look even more sexy on how genuine he is in real life. Like, he's just an amazing person. Who is J-Hope.
Blonde J-Hope.
Blonde.
Yes.
Yo, okay, so J-Hope is always the least popular member of BTS. Don't come at me. Let's acknowledge reality. But at the same time, I want to say that every single year, J-Hope gets more grown and sexy than the year before. I'm just going to put, like, I think he looks phenomenal. And those white suits yes, whoever has been putting him in some white suits lately, please continue.
Their new stylist is doing great.
Oh, so amazing, because he looks amazing in white. Like he owns white. Like he owns white. Like Jimin is good in any color that he wears. But J-Hope looks amazing in white. Like just phenomenal. Can I say an unpopular comment?
Go ahead.
My unpopular
comment
Tammy.
Is
this is all me.
This is Tammy.
This is all me, y'all. My unpopular comment is, I think the least extraordinary part of that picture was that I don't think JK brought anything for me. I felt like it was a little sloppy on his side. Like, so, like, he didn't put a care into it. And I know it's not him, because he's not his own style. Like, you know, he got styles and everything. But I think out of everyone in that photo, like, JK was the least memorable to me for the concept photo. That's just my opinion. That's Tammy's opinion. But, like, it was a phenomenal photo. I'm so excited based on the concept photo for their comeback. But he was the least exciting part of that whole photo. But that's just me. What you think, Eddie? My bad.
Okay, I'm gonna make this real quick. I'm not gonna say he was the least exciting. I think he was the most poorly styled. I hated his jacket. I loved his hair.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I loved his purple hair. I love JK's purple hair. I think he looked good. I did not like his clothes. I did not like his styling. So that may have been it. The thing that was off, at least for me. So I liked the way he looked outside. I just didn't like the way he was styled. I love the hair. I love the hair being pulled back. I loved it being a little wispy in his face, but it was the jacket for me. I didn't like it. So they, but so we will, I guess, definitely talk more about Butter, break it down, and what else
next time
in the next couple weeks. So until next time, thank you for joining us, and be sure to keep up with the latest daily on your latest. I can't even talk now. I'm so excited.
Daily Wine Down.
The Daily Wine Down at the popcornwinedown.com for the latest in entertainment and pop culture news. That does it for the Wine Down Rewind. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Bye.